now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazawey. Let's talk some sports.
In the words of my co-host Ryan Ermanni, let's talk some sports. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz over there. My co-host filling in for Ryan Ermanni is the great Terry Foster. T, how you feeling, man?
Pretty good. I wore, since you've been talking about Jerome Bettis all week, I decided to wear his Mackenzie Staggs shirt.
And no greater high school jersey than that Mackenzie Staggs, Jerome Bettis, the bus. Going to those Mackenzie games when I was a kid, man, it's like I always felt safe, although I shouldn't have. But watching Jerome, man, it's like I still wasn't of age to know what I knew, but I knew I was seeing something special when he was rumbling in 89 and 90, him and Keith McKenzie, man. Did you get a chance to see some of those games?
Yeah, well, we were always over there because Cass Tech, McKenzie High was Cass Tech's home field.
That's right.
Cass
back in the day,
didn't have a field.
They just had a pickle factory.
Yes, the pickle factory or the warehouse.
Or the warehouse.
But now it's a nice school.
Or the warehouse. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a great show for you guys today. We have Ari Meirov, who is a friend of the show, the 33rd team, one of the best inside the NFL analysts there is. And also, we got Antoine Davis. We talked a lot about Detroit Mercy. Antoine Davis, the record passing Pistol Pete, what they should do. Well, you know what? We'll just ask the man himself, because guess what, Terry? Antoine Davis will be in the studio today.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
You want to know if they should play another tournament game?
I do.
And speaking of tournaments, it looks like your Wolverines could be headed to the NIT.
That was backhanded. That was backhanded.
No, NIT is a very prestigious.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No,
it was.
No, it's not.
I used to go every year.
Not anymore. The NIT is horrible. Let me tell you about the NIT.
Jerry Stackhouse's team almost won it last year.
And I love Jerry Stackhouse, but it doesn't change my mind about the NIT.
The SEC Coach of the Year.
Here's how I feel about the NIT. My sophomore year at Michigan, the basketball team wasn't that good. I think we had Courtney Sims, Deion Harris, who else we have? Daniel Horton was on that team, blah, blah, blah. They won the NIT tournament that sophomore year.
I remember that.
And they came back to campus, and we were in Studio 4, and we were hanging out, and they were all excited. And, you know, we're like, y'all excited about winning the NIT tournament? Like, that's horrible. Like, that's the state that we were in Michigan, where our basketball team was celebrating winning the NIT.
Maceo Baston, Lewis Bullock.
Yeah, they won it too.
Damn right.
They won it
See,
too.
NIT,
Congratulations, you're number
Tim
2.
McCormick.
You don't celebrate winning the NIT at Michigan, but at Central Michigan, you win the NIT. Hey, let's throw a parade, Mount Pleasant.
Hey, the NIT was the first basketball tournament. By the way, hi, guys.
Maz, I'm sorry. What's up? Shout out
That's all right.
Tom Mazawey.
No
My
sweat.
apologies.
I was looking to see if Michigan's making a run. There must be a timeout. 51 seconds to go.
Make it run to
Still down 13.
to the bar.
Still down
It's
10
13
game.
seconds with 51 seconds left.
51 down 13.
If they were playing Michigan State, they still have a shot.
Oh,
damn right.
that hurts. That hurts, man. That was a hell of a game, by the way, to piss away. Anyway, the NIT. There's nothing wrong with going to the NIT.
I don't want to listen. Yes, there is. This is what's wrong with going. I don't want the traditional NIT and it's the first tournament and this, that, and the third. When I was in Michigan, I'll bring it back to now. When I was in Michigan, my sophomore year, we lost to Ohio State. We beat Michigan State. I think that was the Bobby Williams game, 49-3. So we lose Ohio State. That's when they won the national championship. Our basketball team wins the NIT. I was like, I didn't come to Michigan I did not come to Michigan to not be a Big Ten champ, to not beat Ohio State, to not be playing in the Rose Bowl, and for our basketball team to be winning the NIT. This just don't feel like Michigan.
No, it's not. It's not. But let me tell you,
Yeah.
we're talking about Michigan winning the NIT. They can't because they have to get past Eastern Michigan first. That would be the first game, Eastern Michigan and Michigan.
They beat them already.
Yeah, they did.
They beat them already.
So
I don't know if they can do it again, though. I don't know if they can do it again. Michigan actually blew a lead in this game, which has kind of been the telltale sign for Michigan these last 2 months. They've blown a lot of leads, a lot of quad one potential wins. You look at Michigan, they playing Rutgers. You win this game, you're pretty much, this is the quad win I think that you need to kind of put you over the top. And here we are, down by 11. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. But I want to talk about a story I feel like we broke yesterday, man. I feel like this is your story.
It was hot off the presses.
We broke it, and now it's gaining legs. Yesterday we talked about Tiger Woods and his girlfriend of the past 6 years taking some time apart. The relationship was over, and she was threatening the non-disclosure that she signed because there were, in her words, there were some things that took place that she believes that she can get some money. Well, now there's different layers to the story, Terry. Accordingly, Tiger Woods sent her on a vacation. When she comes back from the vacation, she had somebody meet at the airport and say, yeah, Tiger says you can't come back to the house. And that's where they are now. Now she's going to authorities. Now she's trying to, I believe,
that's a boss
get
move.
$30 million out of Tiger, saying that he said that she could stay there for 11 million.
I'm sick of my girl, so I'm going to send her on vacation and then change the locks while she's gone.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it.
She's suing him for a lot of money too.
She's suing him
$30 million because now for services rendered.
Oh,
now here's what I'm confused about. I'm an old guy.
Right.
I have never charged my girlfriend for anything.
Right.
I mean, what services does a girlfriend render to a boyfriend?
I think Tiger has his own list, though.
I guess, but everything is free.
I'm arm candy. I'm a babysitter if I need to be. I'm someone that you can shop for if you need to. I'm someone that can pleasure you.
But
if
you my
need to.
woman.
Maybe allegedly.
Everything is free. The sex is free. The groceries are free.
So Tiger thought. These women are crazy nowadays. She's saying that Tiger said that she could live there for 10 to 11 years. For 10 to 11 years. So what she's charging Tiger, this $30 million
it's
for,
rent.
This is the rent that she would basically be owed for not being able to stay there because he said you could do one thing and now he's saying you can't. What world do people live in? Like, this is actually something to legitimately sue about, Terry. Like, this is a funny world. Man, $30 million? Because what's going on, man? What do you think?
$30 million to him, first of all, is not a lot.
It's principle.
But he's cheap. He's a very thrifty young man.
You think he's? Yeah.
Well, when you got to give up $335 million and a couple homes over in the Swiss Alps, that'll make you cheap too.
He did. Well, that was before then. You definitely didn't want to give that up.
He did dine at Perkins.
Exactly.
You're right about being cheap. He did dine at Perkins. No, it's. She's not going to make $30 million. He'll give her a few million. She'll take a walk and just go disappear. Lady.
Yeah, but you got to threaten big to get.
Yes.
Mediocre.
Absolutely. There's no doubt. By the way, back to the NIT.
Oh, my God.
It was founded in 1938.
Okay.
Listen to me.
Okay, Mad Dog.
The final is always at Madison Square Garden, except no longer. Last year was the last final at Madison Square Garden, the mecca of basketball.
Well, now where is it now?
It's going to Paradise, Nevada.
So on top of this, we don't even get to play at Madison Square Garden?
So you're right. It is garbage
God.
now. It is officially garbage.
But you know what?
This is terrible.
Everything that's big is in Vegas now. Paradise is just outside of. That's Las Vegas.
Except the NIT.
Huh?
Except the NIT.
Well, the NIT wants to get big.
They want to have fun.
Maybe, all right, you're a young man again.
40.
And I'm putting you in a tournament. Would you rather play the final in Vegas or New York?
It's at Orleans Arena, wherever the hell that is.
New York.
Yeah, but Vegas is hot, brother.
I'd rather play in Madison Square Garden. Because if I'm playing in NIT at the end of the day, I'm not going to have fun. Like, I'm not going to go out and party. I'm going to get paid. Like, I'm going for scouts to kind of see my game and see me. If I'm in New York, we're in a hotel, we're chilling, we playing in Madison Square Garden. You talking about where Jordan dropped a double nickel, where Kobe dropped 61, versus playing in some arena I ain't never heard of. I'm sorry, I'm going Madison Square Garden.
By the way, the final, Rutgers 62, the Michigan Wolverines 50. Michigan one and done in the Big Ten tournament.
Oh, I guess they'll be booking that commercial flight to Nevada.
So Purdue plays Rutgers tomorrow. Michigan State
if
will
they
play
get
tomorrow
past
as well.
Eastern Michigan.
Here you go with the Eastern Michigan stuff
Eastern
again.
Michigan, man.
Hey, look, man.
I can't wait. Eastern and hey, maybe they'll play at the convention center in a convocational center in Eastern instead of Chrysler.
It'd be a lot cheaper. It'd be a lot cheaper than flying.
It would.
Look at.
You just got to get the DOT bus.
Get the DOT, the DOT, the M36. I used to hate them when we traveled to the airport. We was riding on the.
They didn't put you on a DOT bus, did they?
We did. We rode the M Go Blue bus. Like we rode.
But you weren't on a DOT bus.
But it's an M Go Blue. It's the same thing. It's just it's just maize and blue on the outside. It's same on the inside. It's a bus.
Yeah, but then you have leather seats.
No, not on the M-Glow Blue bus that we traveled from Schembeckler over to the airport to the terminal. No, none of that.
But y'all got these big ass buses that are plush.
We
put you
got
on
those
buses.
We got those from the hotel to from the hotel to the game. To the big house. But when we were traveling to the airport, we got the M-Go Blue bus.
Oh, that's tight.
Hey, man.
Now, when you went to Ohio State, did you fly or did you get?
First of all, I didn't go to Ohio State. I went to Michigan. I'm joking. We drove the big bus.
Okay.
We drove the big bus. I hated that trip because I never won that trip. So it's always long on the way back. It's always the same trip on the way back too. Is once you lose, you get on the bus, man. It starts off quiet, and everybody's kind of like thinking about the loss. Like you don't want to make too much noise because Lloyd definitely will turn around and tell everybody shut the F up. But like slowly but surely, like about 40 minutes in, you start whispering. You guys are cracking jokes, talking about the game. About 2 hours in, everybody gets regular tempo, and then right before we get back to Ann Arbor, Lloyd always yells at everybody just to let you know, by the way, UMF is still lost. you guys still lost. Maz, it's a birthday today. Jimmy V.
Jimmy Valou. That's our man. You going to take care of Jimmy tonight?
I am.
Get him a cake?
If I can't do it tonight, I'm definitely going to go by there tomorrow and hang out. He and his daughter and his son. I'm
Great family.
I'm Jaji Braylon, by the way, now. So
I know you are.
I'm Jaji Braylon, which I'm very proud of.
He showed me a picture.
You saw that? Of Jaji Braylon, man. That means a lot.
Of what you gifted her.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
That's my little girl, man.
I love her, too. But that is a great souvenir you gave her, that little girl.
She's going to be a little journalist.
She is.
Like G Money is going to be she's going to be a journalist.
So happy birthday, Jimmy V.
Appreciate you. Definitely happy birthday, Jimmy V. But we got a great show for you guys, man. We got some Lions talk. Maz, tell us about the free agents that somebody said the Detroit Lions might be looking at.
Yeah. Well, Tim Twentyman put it out on DetroitLions.com. We've got a list coming up here for you. Are we going to hit it right now, or are we going to
No. We're definitely not going to
Tim Twentyman of DetroitLions.com put out the 10 free agents he feels the Lions will go after or will be interested in. And that's coming from DetroitLions.com. So this is not some guy that's just guessing. He is there, and I think you're going to like some of the names that we're going to show you.
I'm excited because I think we've been talking about the draft. We've been beating the draft, and we've been beating it again in terms of 6 and 18 and 48. And now it's time to talk about the draft, the free agency side of things. Like how are we going to be able to pick what we want to or move back in the draft and not have to go and spend on this? So it'd be good to talk to Ari Meirov too and see what he thinks about too.
And there's some other stories out there.
Oh, it's a lot
wild
going on.
stories.
Oh man,
basketball. You got Jim Boeheim leaving Syracuse. You got Sean Kemp doing bad things. Did you see KD last night? Kevin Durant.
That's something else I want to get to.
He slipped.
Hold on, before you say that, you know what? Let's get to a commercial. Tease that. We'll talk about what happened to KD and warm-ups yesterday. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm.
Yes, Guardian Alarm. Customized solutions from real experts. Their professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. With 24/7 professional monitoring, you can call at any time, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as you need. It's technology backed by people. Call this number right here. It is 1-800-STAY-OUT. Once again, that is 1-800-STAY-OUT. And tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991? Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Hey, Seafood Fest is back at Big Boy. Catch it while you can, especially during the Lenten season. Some favorites during Lent: the shrimp Alfredo, the shrimp stir fry, and the new fish sandwich. Get them all at your local Big Boy. And on Friday, that's tomorrow, get that fish fry. All you can eat fish fry buffet. at your local big boy.
Don't forget the Hush Puppies.
Don't forget the Hush Puppies, indeed. Welcome back, Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Ryan Ermanni not in today, but Terry Foster taking in, filling in for him over there. How you doing over there, T?
I'm doing good. I'm glad Ryan is not here. He might be crying a little bit about Michigan being in the NIT.
They didn't get it yet.
Ryan,
They didn't get the invite yet.
Yeah, that's right.
they got to get the invite
But
to NIT.
let me just say this to you. I know you're a Michigan guy. The NIT is a fine tournament.
It was.
It was a fine tournament. Like, trust me, there was some times I watched. I remember back when Rutgers was good and they were winning NIT tournaments. I think
St. John's has the most wins, the most championships.
St. John's. I think Felipe Lopez played in a couple of NIT tournaments. And he actually lost to UAD here, which is another good game. So yes, it is. Some esteemed players have played in the game, and yes, it does have a rich history. I'm not trying to knock that. I'm just saying when your team is playing in NIT, you know that your team's not on top of his job, and you're talking about Michigan, who's been in the Elite Eight, Sweet 16, Final Four. You're talking about that's been their history now this past decade. So to go from that to NIT, maybe this is what they need to be humble. Maybe this is what they need to refocus. Maybe this is what they need to say, you know what, your stuff does stink, and now it's time for a new angle up there with Juwan Howard and Michigan. So maybe that is what it is. But sticking with basketball, Maz. What were we talking about before the break? We were talking basketball.
Kevin Durant.
There
Last night was going to be his first home game with the Phoenix Suns.
They sell out the place.
Yep.
It's his first home game. You got Kevin Durant, you're coming to see him. I don't care what type of basketball player. If Kevin Durant comes to your team, you're going to the arena, you're going to see him, you're going to play the money. He legitimately tweaks his ankle in warm-up. I saw the shot. He was coming baseline, working on a hezzy fake, and then coming and then tweaked his ankle.
I feel bad for the ball boy.
Yeah, is he gonna lose his job?
Yeah,
for the spot being wet.
I bet he would.
If you're the Phoenix Suns fan base, are you worried? Are you nervous? Or is this no big deal to you, Terry Foster?
No, I'm very nervous because Kevin Garnett, and I always call him Kevin Garnett
because it's similar. Kevin,
they're
and then
both
DT,
tall brothers. Yeah,
shoot. Lanky.
But KD is the kind of guy. He's a game changer.
Yeah,
he makes you an NBA title contender, and that's what Phoenix is. Now Phoenix had an opportunity to win a couple years ago, didn't do it, and now it's like Matt Ishbia is serious about winning a championship. He goes all out, brings in KD. If KD's not in the lineup, you're not winning the title. It's done. So yeah, I'd be petrified.
Here's my biggest thing, Maz and Terry, is when Nike and these players, when NBA players and Nike, JB, you know where I'm going with this. When they first start going to these low top sneakers, I was like, what are they doing? Like, what are they doing with the low top sneakers? I remember back in the 50s when Wilt and Bill Russell used to hoop in Converse, the low tops, and they had injuries. And then eventually Nike, they give us high top gym shoes. Reebok, British Nike, they give us high top gym shoes, 3/4 gym shoes that have extra support so that you not only can tape your ankles, and you can put the high tops on and string them all the way to the top. But somewhere along the KD line, the Kyrie line, they go to these low top Nikes and they have these ankle injuries. My first thought was, KD, you're too lanky, too skinny to be wearing these skinny ass shoes. Like, you're a 7-footer. What are you doing?
Yeah, so you know who else wore skinny ass shoes?
Will Chamberlain and Bill Russell, I get it.
And Isaiah Thomas in the
And then he went to
Avia,
but he went to Avia though. He got some high tops in his life. He started wearing the Avias.
That was at the very end. He wore low tops most of his career.
He figured it out though. He figured out he got his butt in some high tops.
Yeah,
having
after he won 2 championships.
Look at Steph Curry. See, he got out of those low tops and got into some high tops. They're ugly, but at least they're still high top.
He does. That is the ugliest shoe in the NBA.
Oh my God, it's so ugly. Under Armour. Like, I mean, if I'm Steph, I'm wearing it for what they're paying, but it definitely is an ugly shoe. In the real sense of that question, I'm not worried about KD because you see KD. KD is a gamer. KD does not lead a lot of shots to put up a lot of points, and he's always ready. He hadn't played for 6 weeks before he played for the Suns this past Sunday, and what happened? He went out there and put on a shooting clinic. So when it comes to being prepared, I'm not at all worried about
here's
KD.
the kicker.
But if he keeps getting injured, he can't do the things that Devin Booker needs, that Chris Paul needs, that DeAndre Ayton and the Phoenix Suns need.
Yeah, how can you not be nervous if he's not playing?
What happened with the Nets? The big three. They never played together.
They blew up.
Okay, they never played together. They played like 8 games together.
Right.
And it failed. Now he's going to Phoenix, trying to fit in with a new team. First he comes in injured. Then he plays a couple games. Now he's hurt again. You got about 15, 16 games left in the regular season. He's got to get in there for at least 10 of those games to get some type of rep going with his guys. Otherwise, he's just a hired assassin. He'll have some good games, but they won't win in the playoffs.
Yeah, the best ability with assassins is availability to do the job. You know what? You guys are absolutely right. Yeah, because you talk about it. Looking back at that game, he played 40 minutes. You're not going to be allowed to win tournaments or win a championship when you got KD playing 40 minutes. Because Devin Booker played 40 minutes as well. Like, those guys can't continue to play that many minutes a clip. So, you might have a point about KD not playing too much. Sticking in basketball, talk about John Morant. Gun violence is a big thing right now. Well, here's an old-timer that's pulling out the heat. Man, Sean Kemp.
Oh, my.
What's going on with Sean Kemp?
Sean Kemp. How many kids does Sean Kemp have?
40, just like his jersey.
Well, it's 13 that we know about. It could be
But
40.
that was 95, though.
Oh, okay.
That was 95. You're not out here doing standbys if all your kids stuff is good.
Listen, a video surfaced about it maybe 45 minutes to an hour ago, and we want to tell everybody, if you don't want to see this, it might offend you, it might affect you, it might upset you. We're just going to tell you.
Won't.
You're going to hear.
It's a grainy shot of him.
Okay, I'm just giving a warning. You're going to hear a gunshot.
Okay,
It
well,
isn't.
Here's Sean Kemp.
It's a gunshot. That was.
We can do it one more time.
I think it. For you guys who can't see, fires a gunshot and then completely slow walks away from the situation. I'm confused.
I don't even know what the hell happened.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of details right now. They say it was a drive-by. Last time I checked, where I'm from, you don't get out of the car and drive-bys.
no, in drive-by, you have to be driving a car.
Well, somebody was driving. He was just shooting.
Well, he was out of the car though. Like a drive-by is like something you can be shooting. You don't have to be driving, but you got to be in the car when you're shooting.
I hope he didn't hit the person. I hope he shot as well as
missed?
I hope he shot as well as he did on the free throw line, which wasn't
maybe
very
that's
good.
But on driveway, don't you have to hold the gun sideways? Bam, 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 bam.
Common misconception. Common misconception. You can't turn the gun sideways. It's too much kick on those type of guns, man. You got two-handed. And
Stop
shit like
watching
that.
too many movies.
You watch too many movies, man. I went to a gun range for my birthday, 2014, and it was in Miami. And the guy was like, "See, you doing all this cool stuff." He said, "You can't shoot like that. You got to lock your gun." And so I tried to do the cool stuff, and I almost jerked my shoulder out of socket. But I wonder what's going on with Sean Kemp, because last time I saw him, he was doing well. I saw him on the podcast. I think the Knuckleheads with Darius Miles and Quentin Richardson.
Well,
what's going on
if
with
you out
with Kemp?
shooting people in a parking lot, that means you've lost all your money. Because I have a philosophy in life.
That's what that
If
means.
you
I think he
have
went broke already.
Huh?
I think he already went broke.
Yeah, I know.
I think he went
But
NBA broke. I think he's like real life broke now.
Right. If you have
different. That's
something to
different.
live for, if you got money,
It's not funny,
if
but it
you
is.
got your stuff together, you don't commit crimes. But when you're desperate and you don't have money and you're worried about what's going to happen the next day, then you might shoot somebody.
See, this is what happens. Like, this is what happens when you talk about like the side of education or bettering yourself as you play a sport. Like when you just play a sport, like Sean Kemp. I think Sean Kemp came straight out of high school. I want to say Sean Kemp went straight out of high school. So that's no college. There's no apparent, I guess, focus on college, focus on business, focus on now I'm in the NBA. How do I do this? Trust me, I didn't do that to a certain extent. Thank God I have my mom. But when you don't do it and then you allow other things to steal your money, take your money, baby mamas, other situations, things that you might get addicted to or things like that, now you get to a place where you're back at square one. Basketball's over, money's not coming in, sponsorship is over. What do you have to fall back on? Well, not the education that you don't have because you didn't go to college or you didn't pay attention to that. So now what happens? The street element comes back around.
I'll tell you,
that's tough, man.
He was a beast, man.
He's
when he
amazing.
played with the Sonics, man. I mean, when I think of Sonics, he's one of the first guys that pops in my head.
You know what? He played like he was on a pogo stick.
He could jump so high.
Yeah.
Slam dunk contest goes over
was a
it, man. The
monster,
dunk he
man.
did, he cocks all the way back, and
That's a shame.
Him and Gary Payton, they made it to the finals.
I hope nobody got hurt. That's it. I hope things will work out for him and the person he shot at.
I pray to God nobody is injured in that situation. Speaking of basketball and not ending the right way, Jim Boeheim, 47 years in Syracuse, Maz, he's out of there?
Hey, he did not go out like Mike Krzyzewski did. Mike Krzyzewski went out. They basically had a parade for him. They had a band at the game. They brought him back out with his wife and his family. It was a great thing. Jim Boeheim last night, after Syracuse goes down in the Big East tournament, kind of retired, I think. Let's hear from Mr. Boeheim.
But I've just been lucky to be able to coach this long. I think you missed it. I gave my retirement, and I gave it in the press conference afterwards, and nobody except William Payne figured it out.
Are you saying right now that you're going to retire?
This is up to the university.
You want to come back?
I didn't say that.
Okay, but so what are you saying? You're not saying you're retiring, but you're not.
I just said it. I don't know.
So you don't know. Okay.
I said this is up to the university.
And you're not sure whether you're. How will you make a determination about when you will come back?
You're talking to the wrong guy.
Oh, a great retirement by Jim Boeheim at Syracuse.
But you know what that sounds like?
years.
It sounds like you old. The game has passed you by. We'd like for you to go out with as much glory as possible.
Yeah, but and I think for Jim Boeheim, he's thinking about, look, man, I'm one of the guys that created the Big East. You watch Requiem for the Big East. He and
Jim Calhoun,
John
Thompson,
Thompson,
Lou Carnesecca.
They started the Big East.
Raleigh Massimino.
They put it together, and the Big East was a powerhouse. They were the biggest conference in basketball, if I'm not mistaken, at the time. So I think now he's like, look, I've been through all these waves, and now you're trying to force me out the door. It's these coaches they're starting to get angry that they're getting pushed out. You're starting to look. Jay Wright retired too. Jay Wright hung up a year ago. He said, "God, I'm out of this racket." You look at Mike Krzyzewski. Yeah. Mike Krzyzewski said, Mike Krzyzewski's a coach that you would never think would retire. Mike Krzyzewski hired his own successor and said, "Look, I'm gonna get my office. I'm gonna step out of here." Now Jim Boeheim, these guys are getting pushed out. Tom Izzo, is he next?
Yeah.
Like with the NIL, with the recruiting, with the constant recruiting, you got to recruit your own players. Now kids don't want to come to college. They're like, the hell we're going to college. I don't want to do class. I'll just play in the overtime league or play overseas. Guys like Jim Boeheim, that's just too much.
Yeah, that's the right thing. Too much. I think for older guys, they can still coach, but all this other stuff is sent them over the top. I don't think they don't want to deal with NIL. They don't want to deal with the fact that they can lose a player after 1 or 2 years, not to the NBA, but to Kentucky, or UNLV, or whatever.
You got to recruit all the way through this college kid's career. And in NCAA football as well. By the way, guess who is the longest tenured coach in college basketball now?
Greg Kampe.
Greg Kampe.
Oh, Greg Kampe.
40 years it will be this year when the great Greg Kampe takes the court again with the Oakland Golden Grizzlies. One of the great guys in college basketball.
Shout out to Greg Kampe.
And Boeheim's one of his boys, too.
Yep. Tom Izzo's right up there behind him. But Kampe first, then I think it's
sounds like 94 was his first year. 94. Yeah, okay.
Kampe started in the 80s. So
with Jim, you already said it, man. With Jim Boeheim out of Syracuse, Oakland's George Kampe is now the longest tenured head coach in Division I college basketball.
Look how cool he looked back then.
He looks super cool. He's got like a Lou Ferrigno with Joe Namath type look.
Look at that.
He's got the basketball.
Handsome young man, and he played baseball.
He definitely looks like he plays some baseball.
Now, Tom Izzo has this great recruiting class coming in next year.
Yeah.
I'm kind of wondering this. If that recruiting class doesn't win a Big Ten title or make a Final Four, is Tom Izzo having the same talk that Boeheim had with his administrators? Well, we love you. We want you to go out on top. But if you want to move on, go ahead.
Let's face it, man. Let's face it. Well, guys like Izzo, and he's my favorite.
Right.
But guys like him, they're dinosaurs right now. It's a young man's game, and that's just the way it's becoming. NBA, we talk about the head coach of the Pistons, he can't do it anymore. He didn't lose anything. Dwayne Casey knows his basketball. But you know what? The kids, they might not want to hear Tom Izzo yelling at him and still getting in them guys' faces. I personally love watching him coach. I go to the game, and he's one of the things I'm watching on the court is Tom Izzo. I like guys like that. Jim Boeheim was great. John Beeline, loved him.
Let's get back into it. Let's let you go around because I think there's some other guys that we can't talk about it. But JB, first, why don't you tell me about Custom Health?
All right, I will. Get your customized approach to weight loss. Think of all the ways that weight affects your health, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Custom Health Centers is blessed to have had over 20,000 success stories. It has been their honor to help many professional athletes lose weight and improve their health. People like Detroit Lion Eddie Murray and Detroit Piston Rick Mahorn. Start losing weight today. Call Dr. Jason and Custom Health at 844-789-8446. Once again, that is 844-789-8446.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper. Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Welcome back to Ermanni and Edwards. I am Braylon Edwards, and this is my co-host today, Terry Foster, and we'll be joined by Ari Meirov very shortly. So as soon as we get that, we'll have some questions. A lot going on with free agency. Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers, 4 hours ago. Looks like the Jets and Aaron Rodgers might be close. Want to talk to him. They're making a run. They're making a hell of a run. I mean, this is what you have to do. Like in this day and age, tell me if I'm wrong, Terry. Like you got to go for it. Like you can't wait. I think a lot of times back, maybe a little 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6, 10, 20 years ago, you wait, you really build. I think now, man, you're starting to see people just go for it.
Back then, for free agents, general managers would wait until midnight or whenever they could talk to somebody and be on the doorstep. Or they want to make that first phone call.
Right.
So first impressions are important. Of course, the money's more important, but you want to be there, let them know. You got to show them some love.
I'm going to tell you this. When Ari comes on, I want to ask him this, but I'm going to put it out there. As a Jet fan, if I was running the Jets, I wouldn't be going for Aaron Rodgers.
I agree.
I'd be paying Lamar Jackson. I'd give up 2 picks for him, get Lamar Jackson. You have your quarterback for the next 5 to 6 years instead of a hired assassin that could retire after 1 year and you're left holding the bag and you got nothing. I would much rather have Lamar Jackson.
Here's the other thing you don't know about Aaron Rodgers. What's his attitude going to be like? Is he going to look at his offense and say, this is janky, I'm not interested, I'm going to check out? So there's a lot to deal with him. Because then he feels whatever organization he goes to, he the man. And, you know, and your boy Bo always used to say, the team, the team, the team. Aaron Rodgers is not the team, the team, the team.
No, he's definitely not, and that was one of my biggest concerns. I was asking the question. I was like, why would, this is something to ask, all right, if you're the New York Jets and you're going after him, I'm not paying that type of money. I'm not paying that type of price. I'm not paying that type of tag.
He's going to have to take a cut.
For inconsistency.
He's going to have to take a cut.
100%. Like, I'm not paying that. But he's the guy that they're going after. Like, they put themselves in a position where they wanted 2 people. They wanted Derek Carr. They wanted Aaron Rodgers. Probably Aaron Rodgers more. And then Derek Carr was like next. Well, Derek said, to hell with that. Derek said, I'm not trying to wait to see what you guys are doing with Aaron Rodgers. That lets me know that I'm really not your first choice. So I'm just go down here with familiar faces, down here with the New Orleans Saints. Now it puts all the pressure on the Jets and Aaron Rodgers, because if they don't get that deal done, that's going to be a tough deal to switch to Lamar Jackson, man. Like the type of offense that you're going to have to bring in. Greg Roman left.
You talking about the Jets?
Yeah, I'm talking about the switch from if Aaron Rodgers isn't the call, it's a tough switch to Lamar Jackson.
Here's the thing, and Maz is going to get mad, but I don't give a damn.
Bring it on.
In New York, they have to have star power. They have to have a name over talent. That's what they do in New York.
But he's got talent, man.
Huh?
He's got talent.
He's a fader. He's all right.
Who's fair? Lamar Jackson?
Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, Aaron
is
Rodgers.
all
got
right
you.
now.
Yeah.
He's definitely on the other side of his career.
Okay.
There's no question about that.
But the Jets are like, we got to do everything to get him.
I know, but if I were the Jets, I would say this to Ari when he comes on. I'd be going after Lamar Jackson instead of Aaron Rodgers. But you know what? They're the Jets.
Well, you know what? You got a chance because here he is, Ari Meirov from the 33rd team and our favorite NFL analyst. Ari Meirov, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Ari.
I'm doing well. I like doing this correctly with my phone, but hopefully I am. Computer's giving me trouble, but great to see you all.
You look good, Ari, and you sound good. Hey, I want to ask the first question,
Hold on.
if you don't mind. Go
No,
ahead,
you
Brett.
can. You have the
Brett.
first question. I just want to say, all right, I apologize. We let you down. We don't have the same chemistry that we always have, and I know that was one of your big proponents. But guess what? Terry Foster is a legend. I guarantee you will love him.
I apologize for being here.
We love you, Terry.
Maz, you got the first question, brother.
Hey, Ari, before you came on, I mentioned the Jets and their obsession with Aaron Rodgers. Now, look, I'm an Aaron Rodgers fan. I am. It's a rare thing in Detroit, but I truly do dig the guy. And I know he's still got something in the tank. And if the Jets go and get him, I understand they're going to throw the book at him. They're going to do whatever they can to get him. I don't know what it's going to cost. It might not cost that much to get him. I think he might have to take maybe a little bit of a cut in pay. I'm not sure how they're going to do it. But if I were the Jets, tell me I'm wrong. Wouldn't you just go after Lamar Jackson, give the 2 picks up, and take Lamar, sign him to a long-term deal? There's your quarterback for 5-6 years.
It's definitely a conversation that I think they would have if Aaron doesn't happen, is the way I would look at it. I think Aaron, coming into this offseason, was their option one, and there's multiple reasons for that. I mean, I think they look at their roster right now, and they think they have a team that is really there to compete, but they're missing a quarterback and some other pieces as well. But that defense is amazing with Robert Saleh leading the way. They obviously have receivers, the reigning offensive rookie of the year in Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, who probably would have been the rookie of the year if he didn't get injured. A really, really good team. And then there's more elements to this. I think Lamar obviously would cost 2 first-round picks. The contract is part of it. There's the element that Baltimore, of course, could eventually match whatever offer they do. But also, they look at Rodgers, and I think Zach Wilson, who I know hasn't really done much through 2 years, but they have people in that building who still believe in him. And Aaron and Zach have a very, very close relationship. And, I've seen a lot of people say, oh, Aaron wasn't great to Jordan Love. I don't think there's a single iota of evidence that is true. It really isn't any of that. And Zach has idolized Aaron Rodgers growing up. They did join practices this past year, got to know each other even more. They call and text, I wouldn't say on a regular basis, but they talk to each other. And I think if there's any way of keeping Zach on the team, it would be if they have Aaron Rodgers as well over there. Wow. And eventually does move on, maybe you could try Zach Wilson one more time. So I think that is also part of this, not all of it, but I think they want a veteran quarterback. I don't know what the contract will be. I don't know what the draft competition will be. I would be surprised if it is a first-round pick, but we'll see. But I think this is moving in the right direction for them to ultimately get him.
All right, quick question. It seems as though the New York Jets placed all their eggs in the basket of Aaron Rodgers first. Derek Carr. Derek Carr says, you know what? I'm tired of waiting on Aaron Rodgers. I want to go make my decision so I can get it going. If the New York Jets don't hit on Aaron Rodgers, what are they going to do? And I'm talking about realistically. I'm not talking about Lamar Jackson like Tom Mazawey over here. What are they really going to do?
So I think going into this offseason, their quarterback plan and their owner, Woody Johnson, I'm sure you know Braylon, came into this offseason and basically admitted, we're going to spend on a veteran quarterback. We're going to get somebody because he believes they're really close. So I think going into the offseason, Aaron Rodgers was option 1, Derek Carr was option 2, and I think Jimmy Garoppolo is option 3. Now, there's obviously the Lamar element, which I'm sure they would check on if Aaron doesn't happen, like I said before. But Aaron is the one that they really, really want. And again, it's moving in that direction. But if they don't get him, I think Jimmy Garoppolo would be option 3. And frankly, when Derek Carr was a free agent, and they had a really, really good meeting with him twice, once at the Combine and once before that, they were really transparent with him. And they basically told him, listen, we really want you, but there is somebody else that we're kind of waiting for right now. But if that one doesn't get done, we are all in. And it doesn't sound right, But Carr appreciated the transparency, and he really did wait until the week before free agency began. I think that really was his deadline. But the Saints really came in strong at the end. They actually upped their offer, and eventually they got him. But I would not be surprised if Aaron would have said no last week. I would not be surprised if the Jets offered even more money than what Carr got to end up getting him.
Wow. So Aaron Rodgers, let's just say Aaron Rodgers turns the Jets down, and you're saying Jimmy G would be next up. So you're telling me Jimmy G's going to wait for Aaron Rodgers to sign, and then the dominoes will start to fall?
No. Jimmy G obviously becomes a free agent at this time on Monday is officially when teams could start talking.
Yeah.
I think everyone involved, the Jets want this to get done as soon as possible, especially before free agency begins. The Packers would love for this to get done as soon as possible because obviously there's $16 million in cash for Aaron Rodgers, which is currently on the books for them. And if that could change hands before free agency, that would obviously be great for them. So I think both teams would love for this to move faster. But the reality is Aaron controls everything because Aaron has a no-trade clause. Aaron, the contract that he signed last year, basically put him in a situation where he's the one who has control. Before that extension, the Packers could have traded him with no problem. Aaron couldn't have said really no. Obviously, he could have told that team, I don't want to go there. But the Packers had the power before that extension. Now, with that deal, which he did last year, Aaron controls everything. He did say on the Pat McAfee show a few years ago that he's not going to hold the team hostage. But I think right now, this meeting with the Jets is about to get to know each other. Does the fit make sense? The coaching staff, the personnel department, the ownership, obviously Nathaniel Hackett being there is going to go a long way. But I think for now it's like more of a date just to figure out, okay, does this make sense? How long are you committed to playing football? The contract part of it, the competition part of it comes after that. And I think both sides understand there's a bit of a deadline here to try to get this done. And I would not be surprised at all if Aaron decides he's okay with the Jets. This happens sooner than later.
And we talked a lot about
sorry, go ahead, Terry.
I'm sorry, Lamar Jackson. And I read some odds that said that the Lions were the favorite to sign him if he's not with the Ravens anymore. I just can't believe that happened. Maybe because I live in Detroit and stuff, and I've seen how the Lions sign no one. But where do you think Lamar's going to end up?
Well,
if you had to put the odds.
So if you would have told me before this all happened, like when I was at the Senior Bowl about a month ago, I asked a bunch of people, if it's not Baltimore, where will Lamar end up? And the overwhelming answer was the Atlanta Falcons. And I was honestly a bit stunned that, A, so many teams quickly bowed out. I thought that was very odd. But the Falcons being the first one, because this is the same team that at this time last year were going after Deshaun Watson, and they had the trade competition ready. And most people believe if it was not the Browns, Deshaun would have ended up in Atlanta. So for them to quickly bow out, especially this year when they have the cap flexibility, they've obviously moved on from Matt Ryan last year. Desmond Ridder showed some flashes, but we're talking about Lamar Jackson here. And somebody gave me like an amazing stat, and I think all of this is part of it when it comes to a guy like Lamar. The Falcons last year were near the bottom when it comes to percentage of seats sold in their stadium. So if you bring in like ticket sales rise, the jersey sales rise, like there's a business element to this as well. So it's obviously apparently not going to be Atlanta. They clearly told whoever reported it that we're not going to be involved. I really don't know who's going to get involved here because I do believe that not having an agent makes this a little bit more difficult because many players have gone out without an agent and it's worked. But a quarterback deal is so complex. There are so many layers to it. This could be one of the largest contracts in NFL history that if you had an agent, and let's just use, I don't know, Deshaun Watson's agent is David Mulligeta. He has connections to all 32 teams in the NFL. He would have already been doing all the inner workings with all these other teams about figuring out if they're interested, if they're not, what they can do, what they can do. Lamar being his own agent and having his mother and some advisors, they don't really have those relationships with any of these teams, which makes working a contract a little bit more difficult. And the reality is for some of these teams and what they might be thinking is we craft a contract that isn't fully guaranteed, but he accepts it, let's just say. Baltimore ends up matching it, and then we just wasted all this time talking to him, and eventually they just got him back. Now, I don't think that's the right approach to take. I would at the very least just talk to him. I mean, we all know the accolades and how great he is. I'm going to be fascinated to see which teams talk to him. I really don't know who it's going to be and what it's going to be. The Lions haven't said anything so far. I would be a little bit surprised if it is them, but I guess never say never.
All right, so much to unpack with free agency looming right now. Let's get into the Detroit Lions. Is there any way that we can keep you for a little bit longer? Just a little bit longer.
I have as much time as you guys want.
You are the absolute best. Ari. We appreciate it. JB, tell us about Fairway.
All right, I will. Looking for a new way to elevate dinner tonight? Well, choose Fairway Packing Company. Family owned and operated since 1956. Try their Burrata Blend Burgers, award-winning Chop House Steaks, or impress your friends with a dry-aged Wagyu Tomahawk Steak. See why top chefs in the country choose Fairway. Visit their steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods or order online to ship anywhere. Visit fairwaypacking.com for more details. It's Fairway Packing. Source, cut, aged, and packed to perfection.
Perfection.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
With four-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Welcome back to Ermanni and Edwards on a beautiful Thursday. We're sitting in here. I'm with my man Terry Foster. Maz on the couch, JB and Fletch checking in as well, and we are talking to Ari Meirov of the 33rd team. All right, let's get to the Detroit Lions, the team in which you showed a lot of love for last year. You were one of the first ones that came on our show and told us that you saw something there. Obviously, the Detroit Lions and Brad Holmes have talked a lot about Anthony Richardson. They've talked about 5 times they went during the season to see him. They were on him before everybody else was. But it looks like everybody's on Anthony Richardson now. How real is the hype behind Anthony Richardson? And we'll get into the Lions at 6. But right now, first question: how real is the Anthony Richardson hype train?
I think it's very real, and I think really a lot of these teams, whenever it comes to the combine process, they really fall in love with the word traits. And there might not be a bigger quarterback who has those traits than Anthony Richardson. And obviously, you're going to hear the word raw, and you're going to hear that he needs some time. But there are teams out there, and I would not probably rule out the Seahawks at 5, even the Lions at 6, who are like, we have a quarterback right now, but we see this guy who could, in a year from now, getting under our coaches and working with them, where we could see him take that next step and become what a quarterback is supposed to be in the year 2023. So I think a lot of teams fall in love with him, especially last week at the Combine. I think the Combine, the one thing that some teams fall into the trap with Combine is that they're there and they fall in love with what happened on the field there, but then they forget what happened on tape and what they saw. So you have to really combine everything together and project where you think he's going to be moving forward. But I think a lot of people really, really love Anthony Richardson. I think the most polarizing quarterback in this draft is probably Will Levis. You could hear one thing from somebody, hear the complete opposite of the other. Bryce Young, nobody disagrees about the talent, but
Size.
I think the frame is talked about a lot. But there will be a GM who probably moves up to get him, and is going to be drafting a total outlier, and he's going to be depending on the talent and hoping that the frame isn't a problem. And then C.J. Stroud, I think he's a quarterback that will go pretty high in this draft. I mean, I've heard a lot of great things about him, and frankly, I think he's the one that you're always going to hear the thing about Ohio State quarterbacks and all that, but I think he's the one that a lot of people are high on, and he probably, I would say, has the least questions about him going into this draft.
Detroit Lions sitting at pick 6 and also sitting at pick 18 in the first round. Everybody's talking about Anthony Richardson and these quarterbacks, but if they're not there, What do? Detroit Lions, do they have to draft a Tyree Wilson out of Texas Tech? Do they have to draft a Christian Gonzalez out of Oregon? Or can they make moves, let's say, I don't know, for instance,
Trade the pick.
Exactly, trade the pick. Or Drummond Jones out of the Denver Broncos. You see what they did. Or C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Seems like they're not going to get along with the Philadelphia Eagles and free agency. Can they go free agency, spend some money, and also use the draft to their benefit?
Yeah, I think this will be the first free agency where we see Brad Holmes actually spending some real money. Like, up until now, it's been more of that wave 2 free agents or trying to find some value. I think now they've built that culture in Detroit. Yeah. They got to see, almost make the playoffs. I think the entire country now freaking loves Detroit. And it's like there are players who probably want to come there, which is something you guys haven't heard about in a very long time.
Exactly. So, now is the time, Ari.
Now is the time where I think might be going after some high echelon free agents, as long as they think it fits their building, which obviously Brad and Dan Campbell take very seriously. But I think this will be the first offseason where we finally see them spending some real money on free agents and trying to take that team to the next level, especially knowing that Chicago obviously has so many holes. Aaron Rodgers might be out the door in Green Bay, and Minnesota could possibly maybe blow it up a little bit because that roster has a lot of aging veterans and they could really move on from them do that already with guys like Eric Kendricks and maybe Adam Thielen coming up. So they might see an opportunity here, and having 2 picks in the first round, having the cap space they do, and obviously building that culture that they've done in the past 2 years. I would let free agency happen first and then come back to you about what they're going to do at 6 and 18. But free agency for the first time under Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, I think they might be involved more than the last 2 years.
Ari, I'm gonna pose this question to you, which I put out to our chat every single day, and I'm in the minority here. I want them to draft a quarterback. Everyone here is in love with Jared Goff. What do you think? Would you draft if let's just say A. Rich is gone and you guys have him going first to Indianapolis in your latest mock draft? You guys got him going to Indy, trading up with the Bears. So you think he's going to be gone. So if the Lions don't have a choice of him, let's just say Will Levis is there at 6. Jalen Carter is gone.
Boo.
Will Anderson is gone.
Boo.
Are you taking Will Levis?
No.
Are you trading that pick? What are you doing?
Well, you guys have heard me say this time and time before. I think Brad Holmes is a talent evaluator at heart, and when he sees something, he knows what's going on there. That front office is really draft and develop first, and you guys have seen it the last 2 years. So if he identifies a quarterback in this draft, I would not be surprised if he takes one. I don't know which one that would be, but I would not be surprised at all if he takes one. He clearly did not identify one last year because people thought maybe Malik Willis, maybe Kenny Pickett, or whatever, and he clearly didn't see any of those, and he didn't draft them despite them sliding down and Detroit having multiple picks. But the reality is, what are the chances you'll be back up here in the draft next year is what they have to think about, right? You have a team that's moving, clearly going up. The reason they're even in this position right now is because of a pick that's not theirs, right? So next year you don't have that luxury. So assuming you guys do well. So I think that's part of the equation. And I think that's what Seattle at 5 is thinking about and Detroit at 6 is thinking about. Because both those teams got their picks because they traded their former quarterback. And obviously no team wants to be drafting that high. And because this draft has 4 guys who could go high in the draft, you have to at the very least do your work there at the quarterbacks. And if you fall in love with somebody, he's there when you're picking, at the very least you have to consider it. Because I don't think anybody, as much as Detroit loves Jared Goff and Seattle loves Geno Smith, I don't think anybody sees them being the quarterback 5 years from now. So the quarterback is the most important position on the roster. So they're going to do their homework there. And again, if Brad sees somebody that he thinks could be the quarterback for the next 10, 15 years, I don't blame people in the trade. So do it.
All right, quick question. The last one we have for you. If you're a Detroit Lions fan, what is the thing that makes you the most nervous about going into this season? I'm talking about even expediting past the draft, expediting past free agency. What's the thing that makes you most nervous from last year to this year?
They're the Lions.
Yeah. Damn, man, that was a good one.
By far, the most nervous thing that will make it is, up until now, the hype train wasn't with you guys, right? I think I was on the bandwagon, but a lot of people were not. Yeah. I think going into this year, it's going to be the entire national media is going to be on top of you guys, and going into training camp, you're going to have all these national people coming there and talking about the Lions and the excitement and trying to get interviewed and trying to talk to you guys. It reminds me a little bit, if you remember, the year the Browns traded for Odell Beckham Jr. and how everyone was on top of Cleveland. And then they just didn't do well at all that year, right? Because there was way too much hype going into the year. So I think going into the year and going into training camp, there's going to be such a hype train around Detroit that this coaching staff and the front office, frankly, are going to have to tell the players, listen, everyone is on top of us, but we're starting the year 0-0. Everyone is 0-0. So, like, we cannot fall for that everyone loves us and everything's going to be great. Like, we still have to do the work. So I think that's the one thing that's going to be scary to me, because everyone loved Detroit last year, but they still didn't make the playoffs, right? So we want to, everyone, I would not be shocked if people have Detroit winning the NFC North when we get into training camp. And the players are going to see that. And you just want to limit the expectations, because everyone else outside the building is going to be all over. You have to make sure it doesn't get the building. You get too comfortable.
Yeah, the one thing about the Lions, every time they feel they have arrived, and there's been a few games that they won where they're like, okay, we're good, then everything falls apart.
Yeah.
So that's a history with this franchise.
No, you're absolutely correct, and that was absolutely that was the perfect answer. He's Ari Meirov of the 33rd Team FB. He is our favorite insider. You can follow him at My Sports Update. He is a hell of a follow on Twitter. Ari, we appreciate you always.
Thanks, Ari.
Thanks for having me on. Sorry for the difficulties with the camera setup.
No difficulties. The audio was perfect. The audio was everything.
Well, sorry for you. You had to hold the phone. Sorry,
this
man.
Is true. We appreciate you, brother.
Don't worry about that.
All right, man. We'll see you next time, man.
We'll see you next time.
That's great, man. That's great.
That's
good stuff.
Ari always brings.
Just don't read your own press clippings, is what he's saying.
That's true.
And he's correct. Like he is definitely correct. Like when you come into that season, like you're no longer the hunt. Like you're no longer the hunter. Like you're no longer. I mean, you're still the hunter, but you're no longer under the radar. You're no longer one that people aren't paying attention to. I always go back to that year. 2007 with the Cleveland Browns. We were coming from off another terrible year. It's what Cleveland does. We go to 10-6. You go 7-1 at home. Coming into that 08 season, teams were gunning for us. Like teams had scouted us. Teams knew who we were. Teams knew where to put the double team. Teams knew what was up, and we didn't respond well as a team. We didn't respond well as a coaching staff. Like, it's a much different thing when that scope and that lens from a national scene is on you, T-Foss.
Yeah, I know. And I've been in a number of opposing locker rooms at Ford Field where teams were trailing the Lions at halftime. And, my question was, what was the halftime adjustment? Here's what I get. There was no halftime adjustment. Coach came in and said, how can you be losing to these scrubs? Get your ass in gear.
It's like Aaron Rodgers said, that team.
Right. The other thing is they had a big win a few years ago with Mike Fury. The Lions were 6-2. We go in the locker room. Mike Fury, who was a safety or a corner converted to wide receiver, before he left, he said, hey, media, you can kiss our asses. Lions didn't make the playoffs that year. They fell apart. We had them making music videos. Another one bites the dust.
Another one bites the dust.
Fell apart.
Silver Rush.
Right.
I remember that
Fell
one.
apart. So every time the Lions are thumping their chest, they decline.
Well, it sounds like you guys have had decades worth of heartbreak and misery and headache. You know what you guys should do? You guys should go over to SMA and learn a little bit about the sports marketing agency. The sports marketing agency is here to support mental health as well as substance use disorder. Their podcast, the S word, and the S word stands for stigma because they're trying to destigmatize mental health as well as substance use disorder. If you or someone you know has a problem, or if you just want answers, go to thesportsma.com. Sean Jordan and the NFL Alumni Association, they do an amazing job of providing confirmation as well as information and the conversation. It's thesportsma.com.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
When it comes to making your haircut truly an experience, there's no better place than Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to any one of our 26 Metro Detroit locations for an award-winning haircut experience and qualify for a chance to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Our precision haircut and talented stylists will have you looking good, feeling good, and give you a chance to change your life forever. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Hey, it's Maz for Cousins Maine Lobster. Cousins Maine Lobster, if you've never had it, it's the best food truck in Detroit, and we want to prove it. They're in the contest for the best of Detroit food truck. We want you to go and vote for them. Make sure you do it today. Just click on that QR code. It'll take you right to the contest. Vote for them, because if they win, you have a chance to win a $300 Visa gift card. It is thefreep.com, Best of Detroit. Follow them on Facebook at facebook.com/CML Detroit. Cousins Maine Lobster, Detroit. Get your votes in. It's the best seafood in New England, except it's served right here in Detroit.
Welcome back to the second hour of Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. I'm your host, Braylon Edwards, and that's my guy over there, Terry Foster. I see you rocking that Jerome Bettis jersey. Every time I look over there, I'm like, right. It's amazing. I hated playing there, too, by the way. That field was always bad luck, because the little league team that plays there is the Steelers, which is ironic that Jerome played for the Steelers.
How the hell did you guys let him get to Notre Dame? How?
He talked to my dad. Like, that's my dad's there. Like, my dad was supposed to be doing the recruiting for Bo. And to get him there.
Notre Dame?
Who did Michigan have when he was there, too? Ricky Powers? Yeah, it would have been Ricky Powers and early Tyrone Wheatley, maybe. I think it was Ricky Powers and Tyrone Wheatley.
And Bettis fit Michigan's offense perfectly at that time.
Yeah, he did. He'd have been perfect.
South.
I think
he fits it today. He fits their offense today with Jim Harbaugh there.
I wanted the age between him and Tyrone Wheatley, because I think that could have been a big part of why he didn't go to Michigan, because Michigan had Tyrone Wheatley. And I think Tyrone might have been number 1 or number 2 running back in his class. So
I think he was ranked ahead of Bettis at the time.
Yeah, and I think that's why Bettis didn't go to Michigan.
So they feel they got the top dog, so Bettis was.
Did Notre Dame win a championship with him?
No, they won with Tim Dwight. Not Tim Dwight, Tim Brown.
Tim Brown.
A little bit before. They missed with Rocket Ishmael, won with Tim Brown. I think the quarterback was the first quarterback to go through Prop 48. Tony Rice?
Okay.
Tony Rice. Was that the quarterback of Notre Dame?
I think so.
He was. Yeah, I think that was the quarterback that won the national championship. They beat Miami with Tony Rice. Huh. But anyway, before we went to commercial, you said you want to come back and talk about Juwan Howard, because somebody in the Woodward Sports Network chat, Sam Reynolds, our own Flannel Sam, said Juwan Howard, Terry, and I quote, should be fired immediately.
That does not surprise me.
Immediately. And
Flannel's been on his ass all year.
And Flannel's a Michigan sympathizer.
I'll tell you what, do you blame him?
No, I don't blame him.
This was a horrible year.
Here, Flannel doesn't buy into the Michigan hype that everything is great. He is flamboyant. He gets angry. But my take, I would not fire Juwan Howard right now. But we're going to have a long meeting if I'm the athletic director, and I'm going to say, Juwan, we know you from the hood. We know you tough. You know, we know you can kick everybody's ass, but we need a little bit more discipline within your program. Hunter Dickinson cannot go on any podcast, calling people's fans scum. If you see him wearing a mask, take it off. If you see him wearing a derogatory T-shirt, make him take it off. Michigan has too much noise outside of basketball.
Yeah.
You want the program to be quiet, you want it to be good, but you don't want to be making headlines for stuff outside of what happens on the court. So he did a terrible job of that. And I think when you're a program with too much noise and too much other stuff going along, you're not as good as you should be. Wouldn't fire him, but we're having to come in the Jesus meeting. And if I don't like what I hear, then I would get rid of him.
Yeah, I actually got someone at Juwan Howard. But before I say that, everybody out there watching us, check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you subscribe. Make sure you drop us a 5-star rating. We appreciate it because we're out working for you. So we really do appreciate that. Subscribe too. Subscribe and shout us a like. Looking at the Juwan Howard thing, I was just going back to look at Michigan's year-by-year finals to kind of see, what has he done? What has he finished since he's been here? And when you look at him, you look at Juwan Howard, obviously this year 17-14, so they probably won't make the NCAA tournament, maybe in the NIT get in there. But last year, what did they do? They lost in the tournament, the semifinal region, and the Big Ten tournament. The year before that, they were a 1 seed. They lost in the regional final. The year before that, they were a number 2 seed. They lost in the semifinal. So he has results in the tournament. I think the big problem that you have to see for Michigan is where I want to see something change, where I will have that conversation too. One, I'm not firing Juwan Howard, but I will have a conversation. You need to be a lot better in the regular season because I feel like Juwan Howard and Michigan, man, they limp from start of the year in November. They limp all the way till end of January, midway through, around the time my birthday hits, February 21st, and now they're trying to sneak quad 1 wins, and then they sneak a couple, and then they finish decent in the Big Ten tournament, and then they sneak into the Big Ten tournament, and they play well in the tournament. But I can't have you sneaking in. I need to see a little better because this was the first year where it just completely it looked broke. Like the system looked broke.
This year, I think in particular, if you start a fight, finish it. That's what they failed to do.
Yeah.
They jumped bad on Rutgers today.
They were about 11,
it looks
I think,
like,
or 9.
Looks like they're going to win this game. And then all of a sudden, the turnovers had been hurting them the entire game, and then it just came flat. But to me, that's a team that's not as focused as it should be. That's why I talk about the noise. When you don't have the noise and you don't have all that stuff, you play 40 minutes of basketball, or at least 35 minutes.
How much of that is have you heard this, T, it's Juwan the X's and O's guy? Because that's the thing that keeps coming. How much of it is Juwan not knowing necessarily the X's and O's and that being solely placed on Howard Isley and the other coaching staff? I can't think of his name.
Martelli?
Yes, Martelli. How much of it is that as well?
He has good assistants. I did stuff with Sadi Washington when he was at Oakland University. Sadi knows what's happening. In fact, today I was listening to the radio. Sadi broke it down perfectly about what Rutgers was doing in the first half.
Yeah.
And this is what Michigan needs to do in the second half. So all he had to do is communicate that to his players, and because he kept saying they're trying to hit the home run. Let's just do a bunch of singles. Let's do simple passes.
Yeah.
We don't need to do the skip pass over 3 7-footers, but Michigan kept doing it.
Are they in better shape now than when John Beilein was here?
Of course, the answer is going to be when John Beilein was here because they had better players, in my opinion, and that was built over some time. Like Beilein built that system over some time, so I feel like we have to give Juwan that same time. And this is year 5 for Juwan.
That's a lot of time.
Year 4. Well, in that time, he's been to a national championship. He's been to 2 Elite Eights, and he's been to a Sweet 16. That's a lot in that time.
You're right.
That's a lot.
Oh God!
Like he hasn't sealed the deal, and it's been ugly with the exception of the 1 year in the regular season. But when it gets to the tournament, Michigan finds a way to get to the Sweet 16, get to the Elite Eight. They've been to the national championship since Juwan's been there. So that's the part. Like my biggest thing is, who are the players listening to? And this is all just questions. I don't know for a fact. I don't even know if this is a question to ask. Who are the players listening to? Are they listening to Martelli? Are they listening to Juwan? Are they trying to figure out who do we listen to? Are they listening to Howard Isley? Like, is it too many people for the young players to listen to, or is it just Juwan and his players aren't executing? Like, am I looking too deep into it, Terry?
Yeah, they're not executing.
Okay.
And they're not playing smart basketball.
A lot of turnovers.
Yeah,
a lot of lead changes.
Right.
A lot of fouls and bad moments.
Right when you are at a position to put somebody away or bury them, you know they're going to start playing like crap at that very moment.
I saw a stat that said that this game right here, this Rutgers game, this is the 11th lead they've blown this season, and especially the 9th lead they've blown in 2023.
They beat Rutgers a week ago. Remember, they go down to Piscataway, and they trounced them. Remember I gave you that was the best bet of the night?
Yeah.
How did they got down by 18 points today. How the hell does that happen? You're in the Big Ten tournament.
It's the noise,
you beat
brother.
this team.
Yeah. But, you know, you're not focused. I mean, a lot of times teams talk about mental toughness. Michigan doesn't have that. They talk about burying people. Michigan doesn't do that. They're loosey-goosey. You know what, Bass? Here's what Michigan basketball is. We're going to go out and try to have some fun today.
Really?
Yeah.
You think so?
And then they just...
That's what Jawan's telling them?
No, that's not what he's telling them, but I think that's the mentality. The mentality isn't we're going in here. You know, I always hear this. When we go on the road, we're going on a road trip. We got our suitcases, we got our hammers, we got chains, all this kind of stuff in our back.
You ready for all the smoke. Like, you going on a trip ready for all the smoke and everything that comes with it.
Right.
These guys aren't, is what you're saying.
And yeah, it's not. And normally a team like that is when the first bit of adversity hits, they fall apart. Michigan is, as soon as they're on the precipice of kicking somebody's ass, then they fall apart. They're just not serious about this.
Wow. Remember we were calling them a basketball school just a few years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's because our football sucked.
I know.
And
It's back to a football school again.
And they were, though. Like, I mean, I feel like
congratulations.
Basketball, you know what? Michigan football and basketball have done a great song and dance for the past 30 years of, hey, when you're down, we're up. When we're up, you're down. Like, they've been doing a good job, and basketball held Michigan down while the football team clearly didn't want any parts of Ohio State, while the football team clearly didn't want any parts of winning the Big Ten. Basketball was there. Now football seems to be back.
But basketball has always been the ugly, redheaded stepchild at Michigan. I don't look like you got gas. Here, I'm gonna give you the Fab Five, who could not sell out Chrysler Arena. The Fab Five, who the old blue hairs didn't like.
To this day, people still talk about the Fab Five.
Yeah, that's the young guys. They're not Michigan fans. I
disagree.
Okay, brother, how could you have the Fab Five?
Right.
At Chrysler Arena.
Yes.
What's the whole, like 4,000 or 9,000, whatever it is?
No, it's more than that now. It's like 17,000. 17,000.
Well, it wasn't 17,000.
The house that Cassie built.
No, it wasn't.
How can you not sell that out?
They used to be sold out because they used to go to games with Pops. I see Glenn Robinson playing all those back in the day. Like, those games, Chrysler was sold out. It's not
every day.
Well, when you're playing against certain teams, like, it's going to be down. But I see what you're saying. It's like it's Fab Five. It should always be crowded. All those games weren't crowded. Those games weren't crowded.
Terry covered the games. He knows.
I know, and that's why I'm asking.
I saw some empty seats.
Well, I mean, when you got Desmond Howard over there winning the Heisman Trophy, it's kind of tough.
Well, but you know,
it's kind of tough.
Here's the other thing that happened at Michigan is
it made it quick. I got a commercial.
Basketball. Okay, I'll tell you in a minute. Basketball wanted some things they couldn't get it until this happened.
Is that right? We'll tell you when we get back. T-Foss has stories for days, so we're gonna listen to when we get back. But first, tell me about the Folding Warehouse, man.
Yes, sir. It's in Hamtramck, Michigan. You got to get down there. If you haven't played folding before, you're missing out. It's a great time. 2 ways to play it: $12 unlimited open play, private lane reservation. That's right. You can get 10 or 12 people on a lane for 2 hours. It'll only run you $120, less than $10 a head. Any drink you want. They have multiple full bars, over 100
What
beers.
do they have, Mass?
And the $2 mystery beer machine. How about that?
Code 45.
Get on down there and get your fold on at foldingwarehouse.com.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh, wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Kroger's, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
You're about to be shell-shocked. The catch of the day is in. Big Boy Seafood Fest is officially back. Join us for some of your favorites like our popcorn shrimp and pike perch platters and our classic fish and chips. This year, we've reeled in some fresh catches like our shrimp Alfredo, shrimp stir fry, and our fish sandwich. And especially, don't forget about our all-you-can-eat Friday night fish fry buffet. Every day is a fish fry at Big Boy.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Now is the best time to join Planet Fitness. The gym that has always been known for being clean is now cleaner than ever. With tons of equipment, a full body workout in the 30-minute circuit, and all memberships include fitness training. The best part about all of this, you get it all for $10 a month.
Only $10?
Yes, Fletch, only $10 a month. Your fitness is essential, and fitness is a key part of your physical and mental wellness. Join Planet Fitness in Club today, or as always, you can check them out online at planetfitness.com.
Welcome back to Ermanni and Edwards. I'm Braylon Edwards hosting the show today for my man Ryan Ermanni, who's out. Ryan, our prayers are up with you. Terry Foster.
I want to finish up my story.
Go ahead, brother.
All right. Michigan basketball has been the ugly, red-headed stepchild within Michigan athletics. The Michigan basketball staff, in order to get to practice, had to walk a quarter of a mile through the snow, through the mud, through everything.
When was this?
Under Beeline.
Under Beeline?
Yeah. They had to walk from State Street to Chrysler.
Sounds like what happens when you're in college. You have to do a lot of walking. I did a ton of walking when I was in college.
Yeah, but
I had to walk.
Where's the coach's office?
Why? What's on State Street?
No, it's just
the basketball.
Basketball, Whitenbach.
So now they switched that up, and the basketball. But here's the thing: basketball was saying, we want facilities in Chrysler. We want an upgrade in facilities. We want better stuff. The old heads who pay for this said, no.
Well, they wasn't doing that for football either, though. It took us years to get stuff in Michigan, and we the one brought all the money in.
We'll give it to you after you hook up football, after you put the suites in Michigan Stadium.
That wasn't until 2013.
After you put all that stuff, then
it was 2013.
Hey, brother, and then we will hook up football.
Well, look, we got a guy on the line.
Basketball.
We got a guy on the line right now who disagrees with both of us. T-Foss. He thinks that Juwan Howard should be fired immediately. Flannel Sam, tell us why you mad, brother.
Hey, Flannel.
Flannel.
Hey, what's up? What up, guys? How you doing?
We're hanging in
good.
there.
I laughed when I saw your tweet. I had to talk about it, and here you are.
Coming.
Flannel,
tell us what you said there, Flannel.
Break it down for us, Flannel. Why does Juwan Howard need to be expedited out of the door?
Well, first off, Michigan is not going to make the tournament this season.
Nope.
In a season where they have 2 first-round draft picks in Jet Howard and Kobe Buffkin, and Hunter Dickinson, who at the very least is a damn good college basketball player, a college basketball player who's a consistent first-team All-Big Ten. And this team, to me, has the talent to win the Big Ten in this crappy Big Ten. They have the high-end talent. And they're not even going to make the tournament. I don't know how that's even remotely acceptable or even... And he's obviously, and a lot of it too, I'll be honest, coming after following John Beilein, who I think is the best coach in school history. John Beilein had built, it's either him or Steve Fisher.
There we go.
But I think it's arguable. From 2013 to 2019, John Beilein had built Michigan basketball into, by the numbers, the best basketball program in the Big Ten. And not only that, the best NBA factory in the Big Ten. Between 2013 and 2019, Michigan made 2 national championship games. They lost them both, and had 8 first-round draft picks that John Beilein recruited and coached. 8. That's a very, very significant amount.
Yep,
and then what Juwan Howard has, Karis LeVert, Tim Hardaway Jr. Those are a couple of good players.
I give you Karis and Tim. I give you Karis and Tim.
Hey, Flannel, I want to help you out with something, brother.
Yes.
How about me and you have a date? Let's go to Michigan's first NIT game against Eastern Michigan.
God.
We'll get some good seats.
Terry Foster, as much as I consider you a friend, I will have to decline that.
Here's a quick question, Flannel, before I let you go. You mentioned that, you know, in terms of what they have on their team this year, you talked about the 2 first-rounders and then what Hunter Dickinson was over the past 3 years. What will be your answer for where's the disconnect? Where's the problem? Where's the problem right now with Michigan in terms of Juwan Howard and having those players but not being able to make it happen because they're 17 and 14 and they've lost 11 leads? Where's the disconnect?
Well, I mean, the problem is they can't close out games in any way, shape, or form. Every time they down the stretch, the offense seems to look disjointed. I mean, there's a variety of different reasons. One, they have an inexperienced point guard in Doug McDaniel who isn't ready for the role that he was thrust into after Jalen Llewellyn's injury. And when it comes to the other players who aren't the 2 first-round draft picks in Hunter Dickinson, the power forward position is just awful. You've got Terrence Williams and Will Shetter. They're both bad. Harris Reed is young, and I don't think Juwan Howard out of timeouts and when you watch them play down the stretch is a very good X's and O's coach right now. And under John Beilein, he was a wizard at that stuff. He was a wizard at player development, and Juwan Howard has just fallen short. Okay. I mean, unfortunately, and I hate to use this strong a language, but I'm not too happy right now with what happened today. Juwan Howard, in my opinion, he burned down the program that John Beilein built back from the Tommy Amaker era, and I'm not happy with it. I think he's got to go. I really do.
All right, brother, can we go to that NIT game with Michigan and Eastern Michigan? If I throw in Zingerman's Roadhouse.
Ooh.
You throw in Zingerman's Roadhouse, I'm going too.
Hey,
I'm coming.
You know what?
Too.
We can. Yep, I'll go with both of you if we can go to Zinkerman.
All right,
all right.
We appreciate you calling in.
Thanks,
Thanks a lot, man.
I'm looking forward to hearing you tomorrow.
Sorry about your loss.
Thank you. It's all quite all right, T-Plus.
All right,
it's all good.
God
But you know
bless
what?
him.
Flannel's been pissed for a while.
Flannel's not the only one. Flannel's not the only fan that feels this way. They feel exactly like he does. They feel like Beilein.
That's a great point, man.
He did. Beilein set this team in motion, and maybe, you know, we're talking about the success that Juwan Howard still had. Well, maybe that's kind of one situation like a Ryan Day where it's like, well, you're still using my people.
Yeah.
With Ryan Day and Urban Meyer. So, but enough of this depressing stuff in Michigan not being good. Let's transition. Tim Twentyman did come up with the free agents that the Detroit Lions need to go after. We've talked so much about the draft. Let's talk about the free agents. Let's talk about the Detroit Lions getting better without even having to use the draft. What did you see when you saw this list, Maz? What jumped out at you at Tim's list?
The first name on this list was number 5 for me, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
That's your guy.
That's my guy. I love him. There's a lot of people that are loving Tremaine Edmonds from Buffalo, the linebacker as well. We need a linebacker. You need someone. I want Bobby Wagner myself, so I'm holding out for Bobby Wagner. But I want Chauncey Gardner-Johnson on this team. I think he rules that secondary. I think he will make those boys into men on there. I just love his attitude. I just like it. He's coming off a Super Bowl loss even. You know how much you can come here. What is that, Bray? When you get a guy that played on a championship team that went from New Orleans who weren't doing anything this year. They decided, all right, we'll give this guy a lifeline. They send him to Philadelphia, and he goes to the Super Bowl. Yeah, they lose, but he gets paid. He comes here, and he's got a nice young nucleus in that Lions secondary to coach up. Are they listening to him?
Yeah, I think they will listen to him. I mean, you're talking about 2 guys, and the 3 guys on this list that I really love is Tremaine Edmonds out of Buffalo, linebacker. We'll talk about him. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who you love to death. I love him as well. And then Dramont Jones out of Denver. He's another interior defensive lineman. Going back to your question about Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and taking the Philly out of the Saints, and you put him around other Bulls, other Lions. I mean, that's what happens when you put really good players around other good players. It's like it rubs off, and you guys are like Lions and Tigers, and you guys are out there trying to get the win, man. You see, even a guy like Brandon Graham, who's actually maybe available, look at what it does to him when you put all these guys around him. When you bring in a Robert Quinn, when you bring in an Ndamukong Suh, when you bring in a Chauncey Gardner-Washington, the DB. I can't think of the DB's name right now. There you go. James Bradbury. When you bring those guys in, even Brandon Graham had the best year he's ever had in the NFL. And this is year 11 for BG. This is year 11. But great players make players play better. And I think you bring Chauncey Gardner-Johnson in, and you're talking about a guy that just was in the Super Bowl. You're talking about a guy that's been in 2 places that had really good defenses, by the way. So he's bringing in the energy that they already have, that dog energy, but he's bringing it in at a high level, at a high impact level. So
you see that wide receiver he's got on there? Alan Lazard.
I'm ignoring that. Like
I like Alan.
I'm not an Alan Lazard fan. I think the way in which the game is going, I don't see him as a wide receiver for this team. But I mean, we can get into it. We're going to commercial right now, and we'll come back and talk about it because I definitely want to dive in here. I've never been an Alan Lazard fan. Like I just have. I just have.
I think he's all right.
Yeah, like I'm not going after an all right guy because I think there's some guys in the draft, to be honest, that you can go after that are not in the first round. Matter of fact, I'll save that and bring that when we come back. In fact, tell me a little bit about Les Stanford, JB, because I want to jump back and talk about Alan Lazard not being the receiver.
Oh, I got you. Les Stanford has expanded into Ferndale, everybody. A trusted name for over 50 years. It's Les Stanford Buick GMC. The same great service that customers have come to know and love. Go and check them out right now at Woodward, just south of 9 Mile. And don't forget about Les Stanford in Dearborn if you're looking for that new Chevy or Cadillac. Find the brand you want at LesStanford.com. It's LesStanford.com. LesStanford.com.
Find new roads.
Find them.
It was a little early that time.
Saturdays at 1 p.m.
Antoine
Make sure
can
you're
walk in at
watching
any time.
WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Jumpin' Puck.
If he walks in, go to a break.
With four-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Jumpin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes.
We'll wait 2 minutes
You get the
and,
best Detroit
break
hockey
again.
coverage around. Jumpin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
Or you want me to get the seat? Yeah, probably can get
Jason
the
Olafson,
seat.
DC, the founder of the Custom Health Centers, and we've helped thousands of people learn how easy it is to lose weight and keep it off with our customized weight loss and body contouring programs.
With Custom Health, you don't feel hungry, you eat well. My name is Simeon Timbuk, and I've lost 71 pounds on the program.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
At Alta, uptime matters.
It matters.
Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. If you have a big project coming up, give Alta Rental a call and do it today at 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO-2, Alta.
Ermanni and Edwards with Maz coming at you on this beautiful Thursday. I'm here with my man T-Foss filling in for Ryan. Ermanni, T-Foss, how you doing over there?
I'm doing all right. What a guy that I'm interested in, none of you mentioned.
Well, there's a couple guys. We didn't really get into the fullness of it right now, but Terry, tell me who's on your mind. What guy you think?
Green.
Jamel Dean. Tampa Bay, correct?
Yeah, Tampa Bay. He had good intangibles. He ranked high as far as separation between him and receivers. I think he's a tough guy. He's got that Tampa mentality too.
Yeah, and they won championship.
Yep,
and
won championship.
Some physical guys.
Yeah, but I think the other thing, I've been in the locker room where Bulls are cracking heads with Bulls, and that does make them better.
Right.
Because if I can compete against you and you're a Bull, then I feel better about myself. But I think the other thing that happens is when you bring that other Bull in there, other teams can't just focus on me. They got to deal with you too. So I don't get as many double teams or triple teams. And I think that's what Aiden Hutchinson needs. He needs some more Bulls in that room where Aiden Hutchinson, we can't focus our we can't focus everything against him. How to stop him?
Yeah, 100%. You can't focus everything on him. I mean, you look at a guy like James Bradbury, some of his interceptions. You look at how he has interceptions. Well, he and Darius Slay, they're able, and C.J. Gardner-Johnson, or Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, they're able to garner interceptions because the D-line's so real. When you got a D-line getting there, you're getting a lot of coverage interceptions. The same as when your coverage is good, you're getting a lot of coverage sacks. So, I mean, that's what the Lions need to bring in there. We talked about Frank Clark yesterday, and we don't know what the tag is on him, and we'll figure it out. But there are some players out here. I mean, you look at this list, there's some players in here. Like, I'm serious about Tremaine Edmonds in Buffalo. You're getting a linebacker that's 25 years old, played for 4 years, a guy that can drop in coverage. He's explosive. The guy can hit. He doesn't miss tackles. That's a guy that you can get at a pretty good price. I mean, you look at Jermont Jones. That's another guy. The interior defensive line is how you're going to shore up that line and make it easier for Aiden Hutchinson. The better the interior line, the better it's going to be for Aiden Hutchinson. The easier it's going to be. A guy like Jermont Jones is a guy I like to go after.
I love the name Rock Yassin. That's a good one.
It goes with Amon-Ra St. Brown.
I don't know if we'll be able to keep them
It's
all
another one that
straight.
fits the team.
Hey, I just want them to go out there and plug in some holes here. And I'm hearing that they're going to go out and sign 2 cornerbacks.
Right.
So let's see who they are. You know, does a safety count as a cornerback? Because I still want C.J. Gardner-Johnson, man.
No. Like whenever you say a cornerback is a cornerback. Like cornerback is only covering a wide receiver on the outside, or maybe even a slot. Like when you say
the safety position is coming up, man.
It is. It's getting back there. It's becoming a little bit of the leader again on the team. It's becoming the quarterback again, if you will. They're getting more electric with their measurables, if you will. But I guess the moral of the story is, there's a lot of players out there in free agency that you can make moves. You have some money to make moves, and a lot of these people kind of fit what the Detroit Lions have been doing over the last 2.5 years now. You don't have to draft everybody in the draft. That 6th pick doesn't have to be a head scratcher where your head blows up trying to figure out what you're going to do with 6 and 18. I think there's enough free agency, and there's going to be some more capital because the Lions are going to move some players. They're going to free up some more money. There's a lot of guys on this list and the other guys that are out there that I think the Lions can be really good and make a splash, not even having to do it in the draft.
The old Lions had to nail it in the draft, which they rarely did.
Yeah.
Now we get to see, are the Lions on players' radar where, you know what, I'm going to look at the Lions.
That's a great point.
They don't have to pay me double where I'd go somewhere else to play.
That's a great point.
That's what I said to you guys yesterday. I'm like, this isn't a place you just come to get paid anymore. This is a team that's on the way up.
That's to be seen, young man.
Yes, you're right about that. You're right.
I think
it could be.
I think both of you guys are operating in a correct space. I think what Maz is saying is absolutely correct. I think that now the Lions have changed. I believe that they're putting themselves in a situation where people view them differently. But at the same time, I see where T. Foster's coming from. He's coming from a real place. We'll see. It remains to be seen. This offseason is going to be very telling for the Detroit Lions. Like, if guys come in, if guys do deals, if you're talking some heavy hitters, if you see a Bradbury, if you see a Dean, if you see a Jones, if you see a Lazard, you see some of these players, and you see them reasonable prices, Maz, you'll know that you're absolutely right, and guys are starting to buy into what Detroit is bringing to the table.
Coming on Monday, we might be talking about Lions signing a couple of players right off the get-go. You know what I mean? Monday is it.
Monday is definitely gonna be telling. Like Monday, who are you trying to see before Monday happens? T. Foss, who do you have to see the Detroit Lions pick up? Is there a player that you got to see by Monday?
I'm gonna go with Dean because of the position. You know, they're gonna try to sign 2 cornerbacks. The other thing I want here is something I want to hear too. Even if you don't sign this guy, when they come in, I want to hear what they say. Because normally a free agent will come in and say, yeah, I had a good visit with the Detroit Lions, and and that's about it.
Yeah.
Now I want to get more details. I want to hear guys say, yeah.
Like, why didn't you come? What ultimately didn't make you come if you don't come? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but you're not going to get that answer. But you want to hear them talk glowingly about the culture.
Yeah.
You want to hear them say, man, that was a tough decision not to come here. Before it was like, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Or, you know, they don't say that. It's a fine organization, just wasn't for me. Boom, you move on.
But you know, I'm different now. Because I'm just now becoming like a fan of the Detroit Lions. So not years of biasness or whatever, or feeling a type of way. Like, I'm watching. Like, I want to know the truth. Like, I want to know, why didn't you ultimately come here? Like, now that the Lions are in a space, T, which I believe that we can agree. I know what the cool stuff. I understand that stuff. I understand it was a tough decision. Like, you don't have to tell me that. I know it's going to be tough, because I believe with my own 2 eyes what I've seen is Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell have put a team in play and a foundation in play that people want to be a part of. And people have seen this through the media. They've seen it in games, and they've seen it kind of unfold. So I understand that, yeah, it was a tough decision. Why was it tough? Like, what ultimately made it?
It wasn't a tough decision.
True.
It wasn't for me, so I'm playing for Green Bay or I'm playing for Chicago, whatever. It wasn't a tough. I would at least like to hear it was a tough decision, and you're right. Why?
Maz, do you want to hear it's a tough decision, or do you want to hear why was it a tough decision? Because I feel like I know it's a tough decision.
You don't want to hear that stuff.
I just want it done. I'm tired of waiting. This is the time. You heard Ari. This is a team that's on the rise, and they could win now. The Green Bay Packers are not going to have Aaron Rodgers anymore. The Vikings might retool a little bit. I still think they're going to be good, and the Bears are still a few years away. Here's your chance. Here's your chance to win the division for the first time, and I don't even remember the last time they won. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers won this division after the Lions have won this division, and they haven't been in there for 20 years.
Right. Now,
The
one
Tampa
of my
Bay
philosophies
Bucks.
is if you feel you're on the precipice of winning a Super Bowl or something, yeah, you get, you sign a bunch of free agents. The Lions, even though we don't view them as Super Bowl contenders, should act like they are Super Bowl contenders. And I understand Brad Holmes wants to be patient. Steve Eisman wants to be patient. But sometimes you got to kick patience out the window and just go for it. Because because you're in a crap division.
Yeah, no, you're definitely in the crowd division, and you got to go for it. You got to go for it now. This is the year, and that's the thing. The Detroit Lions, they put themselves in a good position, and then we're watching this. I'm just saying you can win in free agency before you even get to the draft. I think everybody's always so caught up in the draft because that's the only place the Detroit Lions could ever win. You couldn't win in free agency. You hadn't won in free agency. Now is the time. Like year one, we didn't see a move in free agency. Year two, we didn't see a move in free agency. This is Brad Holmes' time to shine. Like you saved some money. You're gonna open up some more cash as well. This is the time to shine. This is what we're waiting for as Detroit Lions fans. We're waiting for that last domino to fall. Like this is the last thing we need to see from Brad Holmes. How are you in free agency when you're trying to build? You got some money to build and you got draft picks. How do you add the free agency?
You know what Brad Holmes needs to do? Brad Holmes needs to put on his high heels and skirt.
I don't know about that move.
Well, he needs to.
Is this Tootsie?
Well, yeah, it could be Tootsie, but he needs to recruit guys. He needs to do outside the box things and really try to recruit these guys. I mean, now he has something to sell. Sell it.
All right, we're gonna put a pin in that in the Detroit Lions talk for a second because we got a special in-guest studio.
Very special guest.
We got a special in-guest studio for you, a guy that might be a record breaker sooner than you think. But first, message from Lady Jane's.
That's right. Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning experience and register for a chance for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win a down payment for your dream home. Up to $2,000. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports. Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Welcome back to Ermanni and Edwards as we're over here playing a little bit of musical chairs. Want to welcome in our guest right now, Division I all-time leader in three-pointers, two-time All-Horizon League, five-time All-Horizon League, two-time Player of the Year, and 3 points away from the all-time defense, the D1 record. Antoine Davis, University of Detroit Mercy. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I can't complain. I'm doing well, man. Great to have you in the show. We've been talking about you, Maz, for what, the past 2-3 weeks now?
Absolutely. We're your number one campaign managers here at Woodward Sports. We're all rooting for you, Antoine, and we're happy to have you join us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Long time fan.
And I've been fighting on Twitter about this, too.
You been fighting on Twitter?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's been pissed?
That. Everybody, yeah.
Let me ask you a question, Saz. This is coming from a guy I told you, Rashad Phillips is my cousin. Shout out to Rashad. What's going on? I went to J-Zoo, which is right across the street from Callahan Hall, so I'm deeply invested in UD Mercy, man. Just talk about what it meant to do the things you did over 5 years at UD Mercy. We'll get into the record and all that, but what did it mean to be as good as you were for 5 years? That's tough.
Yeah, just all the work I put in over the years is just paid off, and people call my dad crazy and call my folks crazy for all the work that I put in over the.
What's it like? Your pops
years.
being your coach. Like how? What, like that's my dad was my track coach, and that was too much for me. Like, what's it like?
It was rough at the beginning. Now he kind of like later on, even this year and last year a little bit, he kind of gave me the keys to the car. Kind of gave me the ability to lead, and he didn't have to do as much talking. He let me lead guys and just just basically grow as a leader from a standpoint.
Wait, everybody knows that you're there to score points. I mean, you can't have a 10-point game and Mercy's gonna win. What's the craziest defenses that you've seen in the Horizon League?
I've seen everything. I've seen boxing one. I've seen. I think Oakland's probably guarded me the craziest. Like the start, my freshman year when we first played them, they had me. They would rush 2 people at me, and it would leave people open, but they were so worried more about me, so they would run 2 people at me and have those 2 people stay on me. And basically, they'd play like 4-on-3. And that's probably the craziest thing I've ever seen. I don't think anybody's ever been guarded like that in college basketball.
Anybody ever talk some junk to you, like, you ain't getting yours tonight because I'm on you tonight? Anybody say that to you?
Yeah, but
got it anyway.
Got it in me, yeah.
Bang.
And it'd be like 4 different players would say that too, because it'd be 4 different people guard me. It's not the same person guard me.
So you just busting everybody ass. I love it. Outside of prolific scoring, because you're a prolific scorer, you're a prolific shooter as well. Like, you're a guy that for the past 5 years at UAD, when you're on the court, you're the best player on the court. You're the best offensive scorer on the court. Going into the NBA, that's not going to be the case all the time. There's some guys out here that are some juggernauts, if you will. What other skills do you possess that you can fall back on in the NBA?
Just, not only my ability to shot create, but I feel like it's an underrated skill of mine, but I also make people better around me.
Ain't no underrated skill. That's a damn good talent.
Yeah, I feel like I'm a good passer, so I mean, not just scoring the ball, get other people involved, and then, I feel like I'm really good off the ball as well. I always played off the ball in high school, so I was like the 2 guard, and so, playing with players like Luka and LeBron and Dame and players like that have the ball basically 90% of the time, just being able to score off of them and playing off of them, I feel like I could do a good job playing off the ball.
Yeah, I think one of the underrated things, of course, when you're scoring a lot of points, no one's going to talk about is your passing. It's not like you average 1 assist a game or something like that. So how important, I know you wanted to score and everything, but how important was it to get your teammates involved in the offense too?
It's important because, I mean, with defense is so keyed in on me every game, and it gives everybody opportunity to score, and so I just I go out there and make the right plays, right reads, and everything. Just play the game the right way. That's how I was taught.
Antoine, take us back a week ago. It was Thursday, I remember, because Thursday's my bowling night, and I had you on my phone. I'm watching your game more than I'm paying attention to throwing the ball.
That's why he bowled in 95 that night.
I did not bowl a 195.
No, I said 95.
Oh, 95.
Yes.
Sorry. So take us back. It's Youngstown State. They're a rival. They were one of the better teams in the league. The fans were on you. The crowd was against you. You guys had a lead in that game. Man, was I rooting for you guys to win that damn game. But they wind up beating you. How'd you feel during that whole game and down the stretch? Were you feeling it?
Yeah, I mean, I was feeling good. I mean, with the defense that they were playing against me, to sending 2 people, I'm getting doubled every time I cross half court. So it was, it kind of threw my rhythm off a little bit. But I mean, like you said, we had a chance to win. It just came up short. I mean, I felt like we fought hard enough. I mean, we missed some layups, some little bunnies around the rim and stuff like that. But other than that, I mean, I felt like we couldn't have played any better.
How about Dad? What was Dad telling you throughout the game? Has he been coaching you differently down the stretch here as you were reaching for Pistol Pete's record?
No, he's coached me the same. At the beginning of the year, though, he was a little hard on me, like trying to you could tell that the record was more bothering him a little bit instead of bothering me, and he was making me nervous about the record because he was so anxious for me to do it. He felt like I could do it, and we just sat there and talked, and he just said, we're not worried about the record. You did so much in college basketball. I mean, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
I'm sorry, Bray. Let me get one more.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Being the elder statesman in the room here, I got to actually watch Pistol Pete. Well, actually, Terry's older than me. Anyway, Pistol Pete was a hell of a ball player. And how about the similarity with you? his dad coached him as well. Did you watch a lot of his tape?
When I first started playing basketball, I actually watched his dribbling videos. Like
You can be honest though. If you ain't watching, you ain't. No, I'm joking. I'm messing with you. I'm
I
messing
watched.
with
That
you.
was like
I'm
something
joking.
like for beginners, and like it was me first starting to play and just really starting to work out and stuff. So I used to go out in my driveway and just do his dribbling drills where he'd throw the ball through his legs really hard, or he'd figure eight, and just everything. I worked on all that. Me and my dad worked on all that.
That's crazy, man. That's a testament to now as I watch you, now just watching everything you've done in this 5 years, now hearing that's how you kind of got started, man. That makes me like you and your game even that much more. What do you think about the people that are ignorant, just like, oh, he shouldn't break the record and he had too many years and he had 5 and Pistol did it in this? What do you think about the ignorant people that talk like that?
I mean, I would just put into this perspective of if they were in my shoes, it wouldn't have mattered if they play 5 years or 4 years or not. So, people say what they want to say. I mean, I'm sure a lot of them, most of them, or majority of them are like fans of Pistol Pete. And I mean, I'm a fan of Pistol Pete as well. So I can understand their frustrations, why they're mad about it or whatever. But you still can't take it away from me at the end of the day. Because like I said, if they were in my shoes, if they played 5 years of college basketball, they wouldn't be saying the same thing. They would be wondering why are people hating on me? Why do people feel this way about me? So I don't really look at it like that. I just look at it as a blessing.
See, I did not understand the anger. Why are you so pissed?
They didn't even know Pistol Pete had the record.
They didn't
until
know.
then.
They had no idea.
I mean, unless you're Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless is a big fan of him.
This is true.
So,
but that's like one. I give you.
He's a big mouth anyway. We don't listen to him anyway.
Not at all. Talk about your journey a little bit now. You're born in Bloomington, Indiana, which we know is a huge basketball town, and you're raised in Houston, and you come to Detroit. Like, what was that journey like? How was Detroit? How was your 5 years here in Detroit? Because we're all born and raised here, man. How was your 5 years coming from? Your journey?
When I first got here, it was different. I wasn't used to the culture, the music, the different type of like stuff, like.
Babyface Ray?
Yeah, Houston's so different from Detroit. But, I mean, Detroit really grew on me. And I love Detroit. It's like I wouldn't say second home. I'd say a third home because I always considered Houston a second home for me.
That's fair.
But, I mean, even when I leave here, I'm always going to come back here because I love Detroit so much.
That's dope, man.
If you had your choice right now and the draft is tomorrow, where do you want to go? Be honest. Just pick it. Just tell me what you want.
It don't matter. Players keep moving around anyway.
I know. I just want to know.
Honestly, I really would want to play for the Pistons. But, I mean, wherever God places me is where he wants to play. Hopefully he places me, if it's not here, somewhere hot. So,
that weather is
somewhere.
How about those Houston Rockets? They're just as bad as the Pistons.
Oh, yeah. John Lucas is a player development guy for them. And, he worked me out when I was in Houston from 6th grade through high school.
Oh, wow.
So me and him are really close. I look at him like a second dad because him and my dad were just as hard as me, hard on me as one of the others. So they were both equally hard on me.
Hey, we hear some rumors always, like who recruited this kid? How'd you get out of Indiana? We have a guy here, Neil Rule. Neil Rule does our afternoon show.
He does the voice.
And he's the voice of the Oakland Golden Grizzlies. So I asked him, I'm like, how the hell did you guys not get Antoine? He said Oakland was the first team to recruit you. Is he telling the truth?
They were one of the first teams to recruit me. SFA recruited me. Stephen F. Austin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then there was other little schools. UTEP. Well, that's not a little school. UTEP, Nevada, and then Oakland came around and offered me too. And so it was funny because having them offer me, and then I was thinking I was going to play for my dad at Texas Southern, and then ended up coming here is just crazy. And then finding out that they're a rivalry school too was even crazier to think about.
Wow.
2 NBA questions for you. One is centered here about in Detroit. When you watch the Detroit Pistons, obviously worst record in NBA, a lot of factors. What do you
tied for the worst record?
Okay, worst record in NBA. What do you see when you see the NBA? I mean, when you see the Detroit Pistons, what do you see what the issue is or could be?
I won't speak on an issue necessarily.
Very
I feel like
smart.
they have a really good team. Just especially. Hopefully they get Wembayama. I mean, that would help them even more. I mean, they have the talent and everything. I mean, the NBA is just so hard. Every team's good, and so I mean, with Cade Cunningham and Killian Hayes and players like that, I mean, you can win with players like that. It's just something they have to come around and, you know, probably end up needing one more veteran.
Okay.
Somebody that can, you know, lead them or something like that, just from my eyes.
NBA this year, finals, who's it going to be and who's taking it all?
Well, I'm a Suns fan. I've been a Suns fan since
Steve 2
Nash.
weeks ago?
No.
Two weeks ago?
I've been a Suns fan since Steve Nash,
Okay.
Amari Stoudemire, Jason Richardson, all those. I've been a Suns fan since then.
2000, was that like 3, 4, 5, 6?
Steve Nash was my favorite player growing up. One of somebody like I looked at, you know, and you know, just being the same size as me, same stature, not athletic.
You can shoot better.
Yeah, just a little bit. But you know, just somebody of that stature that's playing out there with people way more athletic than him, and just, you know, seeing them win MVP and doing things like that was just something special. And so it motivated me because it just showed me that I could do it as well.
Now, you do know that Steve Nash stole the MVP trophy from Shaq.
Kobe.
I mean,
It's everybody's opinion. Steve Nash definitely deserving of MVPs. I think he won back-to-back MVPs. He was like 14.
He deserved one of them.
14, 12, and 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are some crazy stats. What does it look like for you from now to draft day?
Well, we're trying to see if we can play another game in the like a CBI or another tournament outside of this. Not only just like, you know, it'd be awesome to break the record doing it, but, you know, just trying to end the season out on a good note, trying to win a tournament for our school and everything. So
That'd be good for UAD, man. Definitely be good to see them get a win. JB, Tom, let's do Chili Peppers real quick and then come back.
You got it. Thanks for hanging on there with us, Antoine.
No, appreciate it.
And Chili Peppers Tanning, got 2 of them right here on Woodward Avenue, 27 locations and more on the way. And if you join the Pepper Club, they'll beat all competitors by $5 on unlimited tanning. Plus, you get the cleanest salons in the D. They know what they're doing. The hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, the darkest tans, your vitamin D headquarters. ChiliPeppersTanning.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1, what's your why? More epic energy, better sleep, blow off steam? Step 2, join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3, bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Get a shot up. This is for the win.
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Centron is the official energy drink of the Detroit Red Wings. Right now, they have an exclusive offer for Woodward Sports fans for their limited edition Red Wings 6-pack. Only $15 and free shipping and handling. Go to Centron. drinkcentron.com/Woodward. That is suitable for vegans, gluten-free, and simply put, it is the stuff. So go for it. Drink it. Live it with Centron. Sitting here with 5-time All-Horizon League, Antoine Davis, D1, most threes. What is it like to have made the most threes in D1 history? Like, what's that like? That's amazing to me. That's fire.
Steph Curry-esque.
No, actually, it's not, because he's number one.
I know.
Like I said at the beginning, just all the work that that I put in over the years, the 3,000 shots, the 2,000 shots a day, all that stuff. Sleeping
Hold on. 3,000, 2,000 shots a day. This is the work you putting in?
Yeah, I mean, that's what me and my dad were doing.
That's what I'm talking about.
And it varied. It'd be form, it'd be threes, it'd be off the dribble stuff. Just working on stuff that I would do in games and everything. You know, just seeing all that pay off, and then, you know, sophomore year, just sleeping in the locker room just to stay around and shoot and everything. Just seeing it pay off. I mean, it doesn't surprise me that, you know, that I could reach something like this, but I mean, it does at the same time too, because I just never thought I would be able to have that achievement.
So this is great to talk to you, because a lot of kids out there, like, they see the finished product. Like, people see the finished product. They see Steph Curry shoot from half court. They see Dame shoot from half court. They see Jason Tatum. They see yourself, Antoine, what you did, and they see that finished product. but they don't see the work that y'all put in. They don't see the shots. Like, they don't see what Steph was doing with his dad back in the day. They don't see what you and Mike were doing back in the day, getting ready for this moment. So I'm glad that you let that be known. The journey might not be over, though, in college basketball. And you might still get a chance to break that record, Maz.
That's right.
For him.
The CBI,
set him up.
The CBI tournament. When are you guys going to make it official and get the invite? Because we know it's got to happen.
Well, I'm thinking Selection Sunday, like when everybody gets.
So this Sunday.
Yeah, it should be this Sunday when everybody gets a chance to get picked, and well, obviously the NCAA tournament is going to go first, and then the CBI, and then everything else. So we're going to see. Hopefully, we can get in it, God willing. But if not, then hey, I mean, okay, still is a great career for me, and nobody can take that away.
They'd be foolish to not get you guys in there. 3,664 points. You're 3 points away from tying Pistol Pete, 4 points away from beating it. It'll be an honor to watch you continue to play, continue your career. Take us back to that game again against Youngstown State. That last shot you took, you had two guys on you at half court. They were like dragging you in. You got to that 3-point shot as the buzzer was going off. You threw it up. Did you think you were going to make that one?
I mean, I was just trying to get us closer through the deficit, just to bring it down some more, so we'd have another opportunity to foul, and kind of prolong the game a little bit. Because I mean, like I said, I mean we couldn't have played any harder. I felt like we got cheated out of certain stuff, of course, but I mean, we missed a lot of easy points down the stretch that could have definitely put the game away. So we can't really look at refs and look at certain calls that weren't made.
Yeah. We all complain about the refs.
What we do.
We all complain about the refs.
Man. Speaking of refs, did you see Fred VanVleet?
I did.
Last night, did you get a chance to see Fred VanVleet?
I watched it. I mean,
he went crazy.
I mean,
you saw his post presser?
Yeah. I mean, obviously he had to. It's frustrating to play a game that you love so much and you feel like you're getting cheated out of it.
There's one ref.
You feel like you're getting cheated out of it. You put all this work in.
Yeah.
People come to, like you said, people come to see the players play, and then bad calls down the stretch, could mess up a game, not only for the team, just for the player as well. So I kind of understood what he meant by it. I mean, I hope he doesn't get. He's obviously going to get fined for it.
He's getting fined big time.
I mean, he said what needed. I felt like he said what needed to be said.
He got a big deal. That game at Youngstown at the end, crowd got a little. The crowd was bad. The crowd was wild. They were throwing stuff. I saw one player pick up something, throw it back in. You guys were trying to get off that court. What were those people doing?
They were throwing. I guess they had
burgers,
cheeseburgers, something, I don't know, and they were throwing drinks and stuff at us, cheeseburgers and stuff. I mean, it felt like Malice in the Palace.
Yeah,
a little
freaking
bit.
Ohio, man.
So, I mean,
I saw your dad going to the scorer's table. He was really pissed, and I was really pissed as well. I just want to know
because you get moments like that. Like you get what happens in moments like that, especially you're a coach. Like at the end of the day, those are his kids.
Yeah.
To like him, like Antoine and his teammates, those are his kids. You're in a hostile environment. The first thing that pops in Coach Davis' head, got to protect the kids, got to protect my players. Because something crazy is going to pop off, especially in the state of Ohio. I know I keep joking, but like, when you're in that moment, you go from a basketball coach to a father figure protecting your kids, essentially. And that's what I think he was thinking in that moment.
Plus, you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
If they're throwing burgers at me.
What's next?
I'd be like, I hope one of them is a Five Guys because I'm going to eat it up. But then you don't know what's coming next.
Exactly.
Yeah, you just never
what
know.
They throw
and then you got to watch yourself. You don't want to get suspended.
No, I'm not. I leave that on the floor.
You insulted.
Hey, help me out in my bracket. This has been a wild year. March Madness is coming up. Selection Sunday's coming up on Sunday. Do you have a final for me or a Final Four? Who do you like to win it all this year?
I would definitely love to see Coach Sampson and them at Houston win. I mean, especially with what he's done for that program over the last 5-6 years. He's turned that program completely around. And I would love to see them win. I mean, I would love to see Kansas State even get a chance to make the Elite Eight, Final Four around there. Because with what they've had to deal with, having a new coach, Coach Tang, they recruited me in the offseason when I put my name in the portal. And I've known them for a long time, Coach Tang and some of the staff. They used to work with Coach Lucas in Houston and the gym. And so I'm just rooting for them. I'm rooting for Houston to win. I mean, it's up for grabs for anybody, realistically, because anybody can win, anybody can get beat.
So
You
besides UOD, who do you root for? Is it Houston always?
Yeah, yeah. Houston, Kansas State. I watched basically all their games.
You mentioned when you went to the portal, why did you stay?
Good question. We'll end on this.
I just felt like there was unfinished business here, and not only unfinished business, but it just wouldn't have felt right ending my career somewhere else other than where I started. And I just really wanted to stay loyal to where I started. You know, they brought my dad, my brother in. They welcomed us with open arms, and you know, I'm thankful for that opportunity to still call myself a Titan. And I feel like I don't regret the decision I made not to leave. I feel like I made the right one at the end of the day.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here. Loyalty is still a real thing with some individuals. 5 years ago, Antoine Davis was Rookie of the Year in the Horizon League, and 5 years later, he leads as the all-time leading scorer in the Horizon League and second all-time leading scorer D1. As of right now,
No, he didn't mention he got that big NIL deal from Nicky D's.
As of right now, he's number 2, but we think he's going to beat the record. For Tom Mazawey, for Terry Foster, JB, my man Fletch over here, I'm Braylon Edwards.
Thanks, Antoine.
This is Antoine Davis, and you got a fan in Woodward Sports Network, my guy. We'll see you guys later.
Take that hat home.
Right.
Yeah.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.